everyone, it's little Lolly Cat here, back with another review, and it's another Kiddo one. Now, I'm doing these two technically at the same time. This is the Kiddo Junior Classic Blue, well, blue and pink. Apparently I didn't know my colours there. But they are the same shell, but with one minor difference. So it's more of a personal taste thing. So these are, as you can see, all white, except when you open them up, you will see the sides appear to be blue on one case and pink in the other. And they've done something quite smart, which I haven't seen a lot of companies do, which is they've actually coloured the inside of the dip, as in the actual like gauze type area, to give you these colours. So on an all white instead of doing it with an all coloured one, which we've seen some other brands do. So you actually get the colour tones in a much softer light, which I think is actually quite smart of them. So as you can see, it's mostly a landing strip design with obviously one difference. It's one of the few bear ones I don't mind as well, because there is a little bit of a history in ABDL to do bears that look slightly creepy. And I don't know where it comes from, but things like bears where one eye is massively bigger than the other, or they just look a bit too clip arty, whereas these are basic bear blocks and, you know, kind of cutesy bears, which aren't too over the top, which I do appreciate. Something to note is the fact that they are one tab, and this is a bit of a deal killer for a lot of people, because obviously one tabs aren't the most, they don't fit the best for a lot of people, and they aren't always friendly for all body types. However, this is one of the few, and honestly the only one tab I have ever been able to wear with any success. You will still get a level of pouching, but honestly, if you wear your back higher than your front, you can angle it so it actually hits the right point at the hip, because it is a wide enough tab, and it is a strong enough tab that you can basically reconfigure it as you go. So while it is a deal killer for some, I would say still give them a go and literally just try and haul the back a little bit higher so that it's sitting on your upper hip as opposed to your lower, which a lot of the other ones it isn't possible to do with at all. Although the one thing that does seem a bit funny is they do have a back waistband, which obviously it doesn't quite, the tabs are quite low down in relativity to it. So I mean, it doesn't quite do what it's expected to do. But outside of that, I would say they are actually a good all-round dip. They are, once again, slightly more expensive. They're not as expensive as some of the other Kiddo ones, but I will say these ones I would peg at a 4 hour at most. So generally all my dips I work out into piles of how long I would expect to be able to wear them for, and after having worn them for quite a while, I would peg these at 2 to 4 hours. So they are less absorbent, but they are like a good interim one. So they are particularly little looking, and they do last a reasonable amount of time, but say if you were wearing full time, it's more something to plug the gap than it is something to wear for a longer stretch, or you will have leakage issues, I have found. But outside of that, I would say my general review of Kiddos and overall is quite good. I would say they're mostly quite cute, and they are quite little, and yes, they are slightly more expensive, but like I've said in other videos, the plastic, while this one is a different plastic, they don't tend to tear or anything like that, so you're not having issues with that. The tabs are strong, they're readjustable, you can get away with a lot in them, which you can't with all types of dip, unfortunately. And yeah, I think they're a relatively quiet company if you're outside of the EU. Even then, I've spoken to people in the EU that didn't realise that they made diapers as well and stuff like that, but they've actually came out with something that's decent quality, and while slightly more expensive, doesn't break the bank either. So yeah, definitely worth a try, and hope that's helpful to some of you. Bye everyone!